Hi, I hope everything's going well. For today, all we're gonna need is our ball and our weights, and then we're also gonna add on a new little prop. We're gonna bring a little washcloth, kitchen towel, whatever you have available that you can kind of use to slide across the floor. We're gonna keep that close by. We're not gonna use that until the mat portion of class, so no need to have it like right on hand in the beginning, but we'll just want it when we come down to the floor. So with that being said, we're gonna get started and we're gonna start standing per usual. So go ahead, find your space, kind of roll those shoulders out a little bit, shrug them up towards the ears, and then roll them down your back, really puffing through your chest. Get yourself a couple really nice and articulated shoulder rolls here. Settling down into your space, allowing your feet to ground into the mat, the floor, wherever you may be. We're gonna take one more really full shoulder circle here, and then we're gonna reverse it, but we're gonna reverse it nice and wide. It's just like you're swimming in water. You can be a little buoyant through your lower body, maybe a little bounce, maybe a little round as you bring those hands in front of you. Want to start to stretch out through the shoulder blades. Just feel some really good movement and rotation through your shoulders, your upper body. We'll take one more like this. And then we're going to inhale, hands sweep overhead, and exhale straight into a forward fold, nice and slow. We'll hang out at the bottom here, allowing everything to melt down towards the ground. Maybe you find a little bit of a sway. You can pedal those feet back and forth. On your next inhale, you'll lift halfway up, engage that core, and then exhale, forward fold. Big inhale, hands sweep overhead. And then exhale, you're gonna find a little back bend. So bring those arms to a goalpost and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Push your hips forwards. And then inhale, hands sweep overhead. Exhale, we forward fold. Stay grounded in your forward fold here. Again, allowing your hands to sweep the ground, pedaling out those feet. And then take a big inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we root to rise, hands sweep overhead. Find that mini back bend on your exhale. Inhale, hands sweep overhead. One more time, we'll forward fold. Right into that halfway lift, big inhale here. And then on your exhale, you're gonna walk yourself out to a plank. You're gonna hold in that plank. So you're nice and long through your body, pushing into your hands, pushing those heels back. And then drop your knees, send your hips back towards your heels. Walk those hands out. Find a brief child's pose. And just lean your body right and left. Dumping weight into your left hand, and then dumping weight into your right hand. Slowly find your way back to a stand. And we're gonna open our hips and your feet a little bit wider here. Sink those hips down, find your nice horse pose or goddess squat. We'll take a couple shoulder dips here, dipping one way, finding a little twist through your spine and then dipping the other way. Just back and forth. We'll take one more each side. And when you're ready, go ahead, find center. Drop those arms, and we're gonna sweep them and find a figure 8. So we'll squat and lift. Just moving nice and big here. Grounding through those feet. We got 3 more like this. And we find a little bit of a slide. We're gonna lower and lift, lower and lift, just opposite sides. Left leg slides in, right leg slides in, just back and forth. Arms can stay here like a figure 8, or we can add a little bit more structure and strength through them. We'll find a reach. Just back and forth. Reaching one arm out, and then taking that opposite arm and reaching that one out as well. Just swapping one arm at a time. Seeing if you can grow a little bit longer through your fingertips. We're gonna stay the same in the lower body. And we're gonna swap those arms up just one more time. We're gonna find a T after our next squat. So we'll squat and lift, box lift here, and then open up to a T. Finding strength through your chest as you open. Taking up some space. We just got 2 more. And start to slow it on down. Find center again. We're gonna find a little bit of a balance here. So you'll take your hands up overhead or place them at heart center and push those palms together. Whatever feels like you can balance a little bit easier today. Take that hand posture. You're gonna lift your right leg all the way up to a tabletop. So we're hanging out here. We're lengthening through your left leg. It's like a tree trunk. It's growing roots into the ground. It's really nice and stable. We're holding here, allowing your shoulders to drop down your back. You're just finding a static hold. One more big inhale here. And then go ahead, open your right leg out to the right, and then drop it down. Roll those shoulders, noodle those arms back and forth. And then we take the same thing on the other side. So that left leg's gonna lift this time. Hands go wherever they need to go. Your left foot is flexing. That whole left leg's engaged as you lift. That right leg's growing long and strong into the ground. You've just got a nice still balance here. Letting your breath guide you. I want you to feel immovable. If you shake, and if you fall out of it, that's a-okay. It's kind of just part of the practice, part of balance. The more we do that balance, the easier the static hold becomes. You're building a lot of heat through your right leg. It's already tired from holding you up in that other balance. Lifting it, floating that right leg. Now your left leg's the one floating. It's just hanging out here. We've got one more inhale. And exhale, open that left leg out to the left. Whew. And drop it on down. Wiggle those arms out. Maybe you give a few taps side to side. Just letting that lower body loosen, that heat dissipate. And we're gonna go straight into our weights. So whatever weights you have, go ahead and grab them. We're going to start with a little bit of a squat to an overhead press. So you'll take your feet a little bit wider than your hips, but not as wide as like when we're doing a horse pose. They're going to be a little bit wider, like a sumo squats, we like to call them. Those weights are going to go up by your shoulders. They're just going to rest on them a little bit. So we're going to squat down as low as you feel comfortable going, and then lift. You're going to press those weights up overhead. So we lower for 2, and then lift nice and fast. Just a slow lower and a lift. A little bit of a squeeze in your glutes as you stand. Big exhale as you push those weights up overhead. You're going to feel a nice burn through your lower body. And a really big burn through your shoulders as you lift those weights overhead. Already we're kind of starting out with a little bit of cardio here because this is a faster move. We're taking momentum, using it to our advantage to press those weights up overhead. We just got a few more. Last 3. And go ahead. Bring those weights down. We're just going to noodle those arms back and forth. Keep those weights in your hands. And let them just kind of guide your arms. Have a nice little bend in those knees. Give those shoulders a brief pause. Because our next move is definitely going to use them. Know at any point in time you can drop those weights. When you're ready, go ahead, grab your ball. Place it high up in between your thighs. And then sink your hips down, just a little bit. Side view, you're kind of like in a little tiny squat here. You got your weights. Slight squat, big squeeze on that ball. Inhale, you're gonna lift those weights up. And then exhale, you're gonna open to a goalpost. Inhale, bring those elbows towards your sides. You're kind of creating a little W in your arms. Exhale, lift. Inhale, close. We repeat, exhale, we open to that goalpost. Inhale, we draw those elbows in. Exhale, we lift. And inhale, we close. So you can totally do a different breath pattern than what I just said. If one feels better than the other, go for it. Just a nice little squeeze on that ball. If for whatever reason you want to get rid of the legs here, ditch that ball or just totally stand up upright. You don't have to have a little bend in your knees, right? You're just totally upright. That way you'll get to focus a little bit more on that upper body. We're almost there. We got 2 more. It's a big burn. This is a lot on the shoulders, a lot on the rotator cuff. Final one, last W. Close it up, and then ditch those weights. Bring that ball in your hands, and we're just gonna take that ball up and overhead, and then drop that ball. Right hand comes down to your side, holding that ball, left arm sweeps overhead. Little side body bend here. And then we return up through center, transfer that ball over to the left hand, sweep your right arm up and over, and then just come back. Going back and forth between the sides. Last one on this side. And last one on your left side. Go ahead, bring that ball down. You can dish it off to the side. Go ahead and grab your weights. We're gonna do a couple lunges here. So we'll start with that right leg forwards. So right leg goes forwards, left leg goes back. We're gonna take a minute to set up our lunge here before we start moving. So really dig down into that right foot. Nice bend in your right knee. I'm gonna have you stay upright in this lunge. So we're trying to move in one straight line from the top of our head down to the ground, instead of the lunges that we've done before where we're kind of hinging forwards. Nice and upright in your body. Chest is nice and broad. Slight tuck of the chin. So find a point on the ground in front of you that you can kind of look at the whole time you move here. Inhale, you're gonna lower down into your lunge. And then exhale, lift and curl those weights. Inhale, lower. And exhale, we lift. Once you've done a few of these nice and upright, you might decide that that doesn't feel very good. You can always go ahead and hinge forwards if that's what you're needing in your body today. Always know that you can customize this, making these movements feel really good for you. Especially because I'm not going to be there to guide you through every single step, so I'm not going to be able to see what you're doing. If there's something that feels a little funny, just modify it. We have got 2 more of these lunges. Last one. And hold here, let those weights drop. You're in the top of your lunge. You're just gonna swivel open, nice and wide here. We're gonna let those weights pull you down into a nice wide-legged forward fold. So allow those weights to travel along the front of your legs. Send those hips back. And then find a nice deep fold here. You can set those weights off on either side of you. Let those arms hang right underneath your head. Find a little twist in our body. Place your left hand underneath your face. Bend into your left leg and twist your right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring it back down. Replace your left hand with your right hand. Bend into your right leg and twist your left arm up towards the ceiling. We're just gonna go back and forth a few times here. Side to side, finding a little twist in our body, rotating that spine, wringing it all out. Nice, just a few more. This is a pretty shoulder-heavy class. So if this next move doesn't work for you, I'll show you a little modification. Wrap up those twists, and when you're ready, big inhale, find a halfway lift in that wide leg forward fold. Exhale, fall back down. And then inhale, round all the way up to a stand. So we're gonna do shoulder raises. And if you're already feeling a lot in your shoulders, there's no worry, we can modify it and I'll show that. But first, we're gonna start just totally normal. Feet stack underneath your hips, shoulders drop down your back. Exhale, you're gonna bring those arms out to a T, slight bend in your elbows. And then inhale, lower it down. Exhale, back out to a T, And inhale, lower it down. So if this is not your jam today, for whatever reason, instead of doing these shoulder raises, you can always do a row. So you'll just bend over, you'll row nice and narrow, and then extend it back out. So whatever you choose to do, go for it. Knowing if you come back to this video, you can always choose to do the other one. You can also just go back and forth. It is completely up to you. Lifting those arms if you're in that row or in that shoulder raise. Just like you're spreading your wings. We just got a few more. Last two. And final one. We hold at the top and we lower super, super slow. Whew. We're gonna ditch those weights for a second. Bring those hands up overhead. And then just grab opposite elbows here. Lean back and forth, side to side. And then drop those hands. Let's open up through our back a little bit. Interlace those fingers. Push your palms away and find a really big rounding through your upper back. Then find the opposite. Hands interlace behind your back. Draw those shoulders down your back, up. Open up through your chest, and then repeat. Interlace those fingers, round forwards. Drop your chin, let your neck kind of hang out here. And then open through that chest, draw those hands away, maybe lifting them up off your back a little bit. Deepening that stretch. And then let it all go. Wiggle those wrists out, shake it out. We got lunges on the other side. So we're gonna take our left foot forwards this time. Weights are gonna come by your sides. Right leg goes back. And again, we take some time to set this up. Pull that left hip back as you push your right hip forwards. Finding a nice straight line through your body. We're gonna move. We're gonna add that curl too. So inhale, lower arm down. Exhale, you curl and lift. And that's all she wrote. Again, knowing that you can always find that hinge forwards if moving in a straight line is not feeling good today. Keeping those elbows really close to your body as you curl. We got 4 more. Last one. And hold, let those weights come down to your sides. Swivel open, you're in that wide-legged stance again. This time, place those weights right in your hip creases. We're just gonna sink down and lift. So just a few squats to flush out our lower body. Just 2 more. Not too many. Last one. And done. Dish those weights off to the side. And we're gonna find a little bit of cardio. We're gonna do some boxing. So take up your space. We're gonna go ahead and place your left foot forwards, right foot back, a little bit of an angle here. So you're not walking on a tightrope, you've got some space in between your feet. And you can kind of bounce just back and forth. Let those arms stay nice and loose. We're gonna find some like fluid motion here at first, and then we're gonna structure it a little bit more. Just bouncing, staying nice and light on your toes. You can plant those heels, but if you do, make sure they're nice and light. We don't want to be grounded through our heels, right? We want to be nice and loose, able to bounce back and forth, kind of shake out the body a little bit. Once you're ready, bring those hands up to frame your face. And we're going to move. We're going to take our left arm and we're going to punch across our body. So a left and then a right. Just back and forth. You've got a little bit of a bounce still going on in your lower body. You're just moving and grooving here. Big exhale as you throw a punch. That core is staying engaged. And we're gonna add a little bit of a roll here. So you're gonna keep these punches. And now we're gonna add a roll. So we're gonna roll and punch, roll and punch. Back and forth, nice and low. Maybe we go a little bit faster if we want that. Get that heart rate up a little bit. Find a rhythm that works for you. You can go slower than me, you can go even faster than me. All we're trying to do is get that heart rate up, build that heat, feel some strength through our arms, our legs. We're just rolling, ducking, and then punching as we lift and stand. Keeping up with those really strong, powerful exhales. We're almost there. Keep breathing. Make that movement smaller if you need to. Last 5. Final 3 each side. Last 1. And done. Go ahead. Start to bring those legs nice and close to each other. We're just going to tap it out. Those arms swaying back and forth. Take them up overhead. Whew. And then slowly start to bring those arms down, slowing those taps with your feet. And eventually finding center and just taking a moment to breathe. We'll take our left arm across our body, wrap it up with your right elbow here, a little crook of your elbow, and hold here. Spread your left fingertips. Maybe look over your left shoulder. And start to focus on slowing down your breathing. We've made it through the standing part of class. We're going to come down onto that mat soon. Go ahead, swap those sides. Right arm comes across your body, resting in your left arm. Right fingertips spread. And you can stay here. You can start to take your gaze over that right shoulder. Just finding a moment of stillness. When you're ready, go ahead and make your way down onto the mat. You're going to keep your core ball, your weights, and your towel close by. So, we're going to start out with the towel today. We're going to start on all fours. So, go ahead, grab your towel. You can place it right underneath your right hand, and then find a tabletop. So, you're like this, stacking your hands right underneath your shoulders. Knees right underneath your hips. We're gonna find like a pseudo push-up. So,
Sounds a lot scarier than it actually is. We're going to use this rag to our advantage.
So take a big inhale, engage everything in your tabletop position. As you exhale, you're going to send your right hand out in front of you until you can't move it anymore. So you find a nice little stretch underneath your armpit. Then bring it on back, really dragging it on the ground. Exhale, send it forwards. You can send your chest a little bit down. And then bring it on back. The more pressure you put into that right hand, the more you're going to feel this move. A lot of chest work here. Keep that core nice and engaged. So think lifting your belly button up towards your spine. If this feels too much, you can always come down onto your forearm on your left arm. You're going to keep that right arm just like it's in a tabletop. So fully extended. We just got 2 more. Whew, last one. And bring it on back. Sink your hips towards your heels. Ditch that towel off to the side and crawl your fingertips forwards, coming into a child's pose. Let your forehead rest on the ground. Feel that sensation that built up in your right arm, your right chest. We're going to take this right hand and we're going to thread it underneath our left arm. So you're going to take it and then just whoop, right underneath. You'll lay on your right side of your head, maybe up towards your right ear. You're going to get a nice little stretch in the back. And then go ahead, come back up. Re-find your tabletop, this time with your towel underneath your left hand. Same thing, different side. Take your time to set yourself up in tabletop, hands stacking under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Engage that core. And then exhale, send that left arm forwards. Inhale, drag it back. You can kind of claw the ground here, so really pushing some pressure into your fingertips, the palm of your hand, the heel of your hand, I should say. Pushing down into the ground with a nice amount of pressure. Coming onto that right forearm if that feels better today. We got 4 more. Last 2. Final one. Whew. Ditch that rag off to the side. Sink those hips down. Again, finding that child's pose here. And you can stay in that child's pose, or if you took it on the other side, go ahead, thread the needle with your left hand this time. It's going to just snake its way underneath your right arm. You're just going to lean onto the left side of your head and find that nice stretch through your shoulders, upper back.
When you're ready, slowly start to come out of it. You're going to grab your weights. You'll keep your core ball close by. You can start to make your way all the way down onto your back. So we're going to start with a chest press on our back today. So grab both of your weights. And we're going to do a single arm chest press. So since I know you're working with lighter weights, you can go ahead and place both of them in your left hand. Feet are on the ground. Low back is flush to the mat. And your left hand's holding both those weights. And just kind of naturally out to your side. You're going to press these weights up over your chest. Right hand can stay on your belly or on the mat, on the ground right next to you. Inhale, lower that left arm down. You can come to a goalpost. And then exhale, squeeze it on up, push it up right over your chest. So this is all we're doing here. Single arm chest press, just lowering and lifting. Taking it nice and slow. Exhaling as you lift, just a little squeeze of your chest here. Inhale as you lower. We got 3 more on this side. Last one here. And lower it all the way down. Set your weights off to the side. Go ahead, take your hands up and overhead, and you can just grab them. So interlace, send your pointer fingers out, and then just send them up overhead. You can round up through your low back. Press your shoulder blades into that mat and create a little bit of a tunnel here. So you can kind of just snake your fingers through. And then take your hands up overhead. Start to get rid of that tunnel. Make yourself nice and flat to the ground. Flush. Send those fingers towards your knees. Now all of a sudden that tunnel's gone. You cannot stick your hand right underneath your low back and bring it through. We're going to go again, floss it out. Hands come up overhead. Start to create that tunnel. Push your hips into the ground, shoulder blades into the ground. And then exhale, become flush to the mat. Tunnel goes away. Last one like this. Creating the tunnel. And getting rid of it. Hands can come out to the sides. You can wiggle those knees back and forth. And when you're ready, you're going to take both those weights in your right hand this time. Once you're nice and set up, go ahead and start to find that press. Exhaling as you lift those weights up. Inhale as you lower. See if you can keep some awareness through your legs as you do this. So they're not just passive, you're actively pushing into the ground. You feel a little bit of strength through your quads, through your glutes. We got 3 more. Last one here. And lower it on down. Ditch those weights. Go ahead, hug those knees in towards your chest and give yourself a little bit of a massage on your low back. Maybe you wiggle those hands out a little bit. Maybe give yourself a little bit of a squeeze. And just allowing yourself to reset. We're going to grab our core ball. We're going to plant our feet on the ground just for a second. Go ahead, flatten your back to the ground. Core ball, it's right over your chest. Lift your left leg up, and then lift your right leg up. So you're in a little bit of a tabletop position. Back is flat to the ground. Go ahead and place this core ball on your left leg. You're pressing it into your left leg with your right hand. And your left hand just goes flat on the ground. A little bit of balance here, stability. We're just holding here to start. So you're pressing into that ball with your left leg while you're simultaneously pushing into the ball with your right hand. So you're creating a lot of tension here. You should already feel your low belly start to light up. Just one more breath here. And then go ahead and lift your left arm. We're gonna find those dead bugs. So exhale, lower your right leg, lower your left arm. Inhale, bring them back. You've still got that tension on that ball. Pushing into it with your leg and your arm. Whew. This one's hard. The more tension you create between your arm and your leg, pushing into that ball, the more you're gonna feel your core light up. You just got 2 more. Last one. And done. Drop your feet. Let that ball go for a second. Windshield wiper those legs side to side. Shake out those wrists a little bit. We're going to even our sides out. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and walk your feet back in, planting the feet on the ground. We'll grab that core ball, press it over your chest. This time, lift your right leg up to a tabletop first, and then your left leg follows. Grab the ball with your left hand, place it on your right leg. Find that tension, and then drop your right hand down on the ground. Just holding here, building up that heat in this static hold. Nothing's moving, but it's still really, really hard. We're keeping our low back flush to the mat. Nice strong inhales and exhales. And when you're ready, you'll lift your right arm. We're going to find that movement. Left leg extend, right arm extends, and then bring it back through center. We're over halfway there. We got 3 more. Last one. And done. Drop your feet, drop that ball. Again, windshield wiping your legs. Let's go ahead, send your left leg long. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. We're going to take a little bit of a twist. Allow this right knee to drop over towards the left side of your mat. Just hang out here for a second. Find a little twist in your low back. We've got one more move to finish this off. And we're going to use that rag again. We got time before we go there though. Go ahead, return through center. Send that right leg long, left leg hugs in towards your chest. And then find that little twist, allowing that left knee to drop over towards the right side of your mat. When you're ready, slowly return through center. And just grab the little towel that you have. So you're going to place it right underneath your left foot. We're still staying on our back. Go ahead, take a big inhale. Draw your belly button down towards your spine, down towards the earth. And we're going to do a couple here without lifting our hips first, just to get the hang of it, just to feel that movement through our left leg. Exhale, go ahead, extend this left leg out. Your toes can peel off the ground if you want, or you can extend it as far as you can without those toes peeling. Whatever feels best for you. Heel is always going to stay grounded though. So extend that left leg out, and then bring it back in. Extend, and bring it back in. So it's much like the ones we did in tabletop with the rag. The more pressure you put into that foot, the more you're going to feel this leg start to activate. Let's just do one more like this. And then go ahead and find your hips lifted. So we're going to take a big inhale here, lift those hips up towards the ceiling, keep them lifted, and you're going to send that left leg long as you can, and then bring it back, keeping those hips lifted. We extend it, and then we draw it back in. Extend, whoo, and draw it back in, feeling a huge strength contraction in our hamstring. Our glute is probably on fire on that left side. We've got two more like this. Last one, extend, and pull it on back. Lower your hips down, hug that left knee in towards your chest, send that right leg nice and long. Go ahead, roll your left ankle here. And then interlace your fingers on your left hamstring. Let's floss it out. We'll extend that left leg and then rebend it. Last one here. And go ahead, plant both those feet back on the ground. You can just swap sides here with the rag. The towel, just place it underneath your right foot this time. I'm going to suggest that when you're doing these, you find a place where there's not a little bit of an edge. So I've got an edge right here. I'm going up and then off this edge. It's going to make it a lot harder and really kind of funky. So wherever you can, make sure that you don't have like a little edge or going up and over. You just want it nice and flat surface. So we're going to find our ways onto our backs, knees up towards the ceiling. We're going to start again nice and grounded, drawing belly button down towards the earth, engaging your lower abdominals. And then exhaling, sending that leg nice and long, and then bringing it back in. We get 2 more like this. Last one. And now we find the lift of our hips. Inhale, send those hips up towards the ceiling. Hold it here. Exhale, extend that right leg. And then bring it back in. Keep your hips lifted. Last 3. Big burn in that right hamstring. Last one here. And bring it back. Set those hips back on the ground. Send that left leg long. Hug that right knee in towards your chest. And start to wiggle out that right ankle. And then when you're ready, you can interlace your fingertips on your right hamstring and start to floss it out, extending your right leg and then rebending it. You're done, you did it. This is your final move for the class today. Find any other stretches that feel really good to you. When you're ready, you can rock up to a seat and you can go about the rest of your day. I hope you had a good time sweating here with me, and I hope you're having an amazing trip, and I will see you soon. Bye.